In the heart of a bustling African town, where the air always seemed thick with secrets, the girls of St. Mary's Girls' High School carried with them the weight of tradition, ambition, and unspoken desires. It was in this very school that Adana, the brilliant and popular final-year student, would unknowingly become the centerpiece of a dark and twisted tale. Adana and Zina had been best friends for years, inseparable since their first year at the school. Zina was everything Adana wasn't: quiet, introspective, and deeply immersed in her art. She had a way of capturing the world in ways Adana could never quite understand. But it was Zina's latest gift that would change everything. It came to her, wrapped in a velvet cloth, a painting. The portrait of an angel. The angel was unlike any Adana had ever seen. The figure was ethereal, bathed in a soft light, with glowing eyes that pierced into the soul. Its wings were tattered, and its expression, sad. Almost too sad. It was the kind of beauty that left an unsettling chill behind it, the kind that made you question whether it was meant to protect or to consume. Adana, ever the optimist, accepted it with a smile, laughing off the unease that stirred in her chest. "It's beautiful, Zina," she said, her voice light. "But is it supposed to look haunted?" Zina's lips curled into a faint, mysterious smile. "It's unique, Adana. Just hang it in your room. You'll see. It will change everything." That night, Adana hung the portrait on the wall of her bedroom. As she drifted to sleep, the angel's eyes seemed to glimmer. At first, it was subtle, a flicker, like the light had caught it just right. But as the night deepened, Adana could have sworn the eyes moved, followed her every shift, watching her, waiting. Her sleep was restless, filled with dark dreams where the angel whispered her name, and its wings fluttered in the shadows. The next morning, everything seemed off. Adana couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She woke with a start, her heart pounding. The angel's eyes, they had followed her into the night, hadn't they? Her reflection in the mirror seemed distorted, as if the image staring back at her was not quite her own. At school, it became worse. Whispers began to circulate, rumors spreading like wildfire. "Did you hear about Adana?" one student whispered to another. "She's been acting strange lately. And she's been hanging out with Zina a lot, hasn't she?" "She's different now," came another voice. "She's changed." Adana found herself on the receiving end of cold stares, her once adoring classmates suddenly treating her like a stranger. But it wasn't just that. Her once perfect grades began to slip. She couldn't concentrate. The whispers from the angel, faint at first, became clearer, louder, demanding her attention. The worst of it came when Adana noticed the painting itself seemed stuck to the wall. She tried to take it down. The screws wouldn't turn. The frame wouldn't budge. It was as though the portrait had fused with the very wood of the house. Desperate, she reached out to Zina. "There's something wrong with it," she said, her voice tinged with panic. Zina just shrugged. "It's just a painting, Adana. It will pass. You're letting it get to your head." But Zina's eyes, those eyes were too cold now, as though something within her had shifted, too. Something darker. Something sinister. That night, Adana couldn't sleep at all. She heard noises, whispers, from the corner of her room, and she swore the painting was glowing. The angel's eyes were no longer warm, they were hollow, black pits, pulling her in, devouring her soul inch by inch. The walls seemed to close in. Desperate to escape, Adana ran outside. But it didn't stop. The whispers followed her. By morning, it had escalated. At school, Zina was no longer the quiet, shy girl she had once been. She was different. Powerful. Confident. She commanded the attention of everyone around her. Teachers listened to her every word, and students gravitated toward her. And then, the unthinkable happened. Adana's boyfriend, Kofi, kissed Zina in front of her. right in the middle of the school courtyard. Zena's eyes sparkled with a cold triumph, and when Adana confronted them, Zena's voice was like ice. The angel gives, Adana. And the angel takes. The words stung, but Adana couldn't understand. Not yet. In her search for answers, Adana ventured into the old chapel behind the school. Father Emmanuel, the priest who had once been a mentor to her, was now a shell of his former self. His face was pale, his eyes haunted. He trembled when he saw her. Adana, you've seen it, haven't you? He whispered. You've seen what it does. The angel is not what it seems. He explained the origins of the angel. It was a demon, a spirit from ancient times that posed as a protector, feeding on the souls of the betrayed, growing stronger with every soul it consumed. The painting was a curse. It chose its victims and led them down a path of darkness. To destroy it, Adana would have to break the curse, but there was a catch. To sever the bond, she would need to sacrifice a soul to the angel first. Adana recoiled in horror. She could never give a soul. But the more she resisted, the stronger the angel became. She knew it was only a matter of time before it would claim her as its next victim. That night, everything came to a head. In the quiet of the school, Adana confronted Zina in the art room. Zina, now fully possessed by the spirit of the angel, raised her hands, and the paintings around them began to float. The eyes of the angels glowed in unison, watching them both. The angel wants you, Adana. Zina's voice was no longer hers. It was cold, distant, and filled with an unholy power. She demands you. She will devour you. Your soul is already hers. Adana's heart raced. She reached for the small knife her grandmother had once used to carve protective symbols. With a steady hand, she carved ancient runes into the air, one after another, her hand trembling but determined. The ground shook beneath her as the air grew thick with energy. The paintings began to crack, their faces distorting in agony. The angel screamed, its voice a cacophony of voices, each more desperate than the last. The walls groaned, the building trembling under the weight of its power. In that moment, Adana made the decision. She would not sacrifice anyone. Not Zina. Not herself. She would fight. With a final cry, she thrust the knife into the painting. The moment the blade struck the canvas, a burst of light shattered the air. The angel's scream was deafening as its form began to crumble. The paintings exploded into dust, the once glowing faces now nothing but ash. But as the dust settled, a chilling silence fell over the room. Ebo, the new art student, had been watching the entire time. She stepped forward, her eyes glowing with an unnatural light. You freed her, but she will never be gone. You can destroy her form, but the curse lives on. She moves on. She always moves on. Adana looked at her, realizing that the battle wasn't over. The curse was only momentarily broken, and the angel would find another vessel, another victim. But in that moment, Adana had won. For now. As she walked out of the school with Ebo by her side, a quiet sense of relief washed over her. The air was lighter. The whispers had stopped. But in the reflection of a nearby shop window, Adana caught a glimpse of something in the glass. A portrait, not of her, but of a new angel. Its eyes glowing faintly. Waiting. The cycle was far from over.